of things to consider, but there's one very important thing you should do right now before you even start that look. Well, today, tips to make the home buying process easier.
And Ryan Rishman is a senior loan officer with Providence Home Lending, and Katie O'Keefe is a broker with Dream Realtors. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Hi.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yeah, good to see you both. Okay, so we said it. What is the best tip for someone who's looking to buy a home right now, Ryan?
Highly recommend you come and see me first and get what's called pre-qualified. Basically, what I'll do is run through your entire financial picture with you, make certain that we know what's going to be affordable, and that way you don't go out and look at maybe too much or too little.
Okay. And it's a perfect guide, isn't it? Because you know, if you have pre-approval, you know basically exactly how much you can afford, so you know what houses to look at.
Without a doubt, and it's very important to sit with me first before you go and see Katie. We work as a team, so me first, her second, but it's all contained, and it makes a seamless transaction.
Okay, that makes sense. So, Katie, how does it help the buyer when you and Ryan both work together? How does that make it easier or more effective for someone?
One of the common things we hear all the time is this is such a stressful process. And really, when we work as a team, I like to look at us like expediters. So you start with Ryan, he tells you what you can and can't afford, make sure this is the appropriate time that you can move forward with a purchase like that. And then my job is to take your wish list on what you're looking for and where you want to be, and then do the work with finding the property, putting the offer together, and getting through contingencies. So,
do you find that it is very helpful for people who are looking to buy a new home that they come to you pre-approved?
Absolutely. The last thing you want to do is think you know what you can spend, and we go out and look at all these great homes, only to find out after you speak with Ryan that, oh, we're 30 or 40,000 over where we should be, and now nothing compares. So,
or on the opposite side of that, you're looking in a certain price range, and maybe it turns out you can afford more than you thought, and that you could be looking at a whole nother level of home.
Absolutely. And you know, people don't have a lot of time right now, so we try to make it fun and put it together so it's not a stressful process. You can look at this and go, you know, this was a really great opportunity for us to get into something better.
That makes sense. Why do you think it's important to work with somebody who's a full-time experienced realtor?
I really strongly urge it based on the fact that if you have somebody that maybe is tinkering with it, they may not have the time and dedication and devotion to spend with you. I choose very wisely who my business partners are. Katie's one of my favorites. So, and because she takes care of people the way that I take care of people, and it's important when I refer somebody that they get the type of treatment and the experience that they deserve.
Does it turn out that a lot of home buyers work with realtors who maybe don't do it full time?
You know, what tends to happen is they start with them, and then we sometimes get the call later going, you know, it can be an overwhelming process, and we have dates and deadlines and contingencies to work through. I can't imagine working with someone that doesn't do this full time. And between Ryan and I, we take, once we get the accepted offer, and there's so much more that we need to do with it before you sit at that closing table that people don't see, and doing it part-time to me would make that so much more difficult.
Yeah, even on the back end there, like you said. So what do you think is the advantage of working with somebody who's local owned and maybe kind of a little smaller like that, like Providence Home Lending?
You have a face with a name, and it's important. It's important that Ryan picks up the call on the weekends and after hours when I need something, because we have these contingencies that we have to overcome, and we do sometimes hit hiccups throughout the way. You know, Ryan is vested as I am in our clients, and we sit together and we have a meeting in the beginning and we work all the way through, and then we're sitting at the closing table together. So when you have an out-of-state lender, it just, you miss that personal touch, and they're not as vested in the clients as Ryan is.
Do you find that that's the case too, Ryan, and that that's something that you talk to clients about, is the benefits of being locally owned?
The way I put this, this is more than likely the largest financial transaction you'll make in your entire life. Don't trust it to the internet. Don't trust it to a phone call. When you sit with me, and I've talked about this with you girls a bunch of times, when you sit with me, you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. I know exactly what you're hoping to accomplish. It's not just numbers. I'm not just saying, here, throw this out, throw that out. I want to go through and make sure we're making the right decision. And yeah, it's incredibly important to sit and be involved with the people that you're working with from start to finish.
And what do you think the market looks like right now? Looking good?
Looks great. There's a lot of doom and gloom, and the spring's right around the corner. I know I was driving in here this morning, I would have known that, but spring is right around the corner.
Surprise!
Right, hello. But with spring comes spring buying market, as we refer to it. So anybody who's watching right now, whether it's yourself or a friend or a family member, have them contact me, have them contact Katie, and we'll be more than happy to go through the process and let you know what's going to be affordable for you. Rates are great. They're not as low as they had been in the past. I'm not going to mislead you in that direction, but they're still incredibly low. And a lot of times we sit with people and find out that they're paying more in rent than they would for a mortgage payment.
And that's important to find out, because buying is such a great, to have that asset and equity in your home is such a great thing. You have a special offer right now for people.
Yes. When you contact either of us, make certain to ask. You may or may not have heard that there's costs involved with a loan for a closing. We want to share with you a way to avoid those costs. So minimum amount of down payment would be 3.5% of your purchase price. And we have a plan Katie and I do together that we'll share with you when you call.
That's fantastic.
Great.
Here's
That's nice
the information, starting with Providence Home Lending. You can get in touch with Ryan by calling him direct. This is his phone number. It's 262-754-3331. Or you can email him directly. It's ryan@trustprovidence.com. And you can get a hold of Katie. She's with Dream Realtors. That website is dream-realtors.com. And the phone number is 414-899-5009. Nice to talk with you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
And still ahead, tips to making the morning rush a little more calm.
And next, tennis star Serena Williams is super fit.